All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the HSC Forum. We are going to be talking about transportation, joined by some lovely transportation partners who will be providing updates and sharing about new initiatives in our community that aim to improve access and mobility. My name is Shasta Savage. I'm Director of Leadership Development and Consulting Services for the Human Services Coalition. And we're pleased to have Nicole Roulstin, our 2-in-1 Tompkins Cortland Contact Center Manager, as our facilitator to guide us through today's discussion. All right, take it away, Nicole.
Thanks, Shasta. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here on this chilly Wednesday in November. We have a pretty packed agenda with 7 presenters. So I'm going to start by going around and having each of our presenters introduce themselves, and then I'll share my screen and we'll start going through the presentation. We will hold all questions until the end of the presentation. So I'm going to start with Patty.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Patty Poist. I'm the Communications and Marketing Manager here at TCAT.
And Kristen.
Hello, I am Kristen Rawls. I am the Executive Director of Gadabout Transportation.
Jane.
Good morning. I'm Jane Bowman Brady. I'm the Executive Director for Go Ithaca. We're Ithaca's transportation management organization.
Laura and Liz.
Good morning. I'm Laura Vineyard, Executive Director for the Center for Community Transportation.
And I'm Liz Field, the Director of Ithaca Carshare. Ithaca Carshare is part of the CCT.
Victoria.
Good morning. My name is Victoria, and I am the Transportation Specialist for the Human Services Coalition.
And last but not least, Meloney.
Good morning, Meloney McMurry, Team Leader of Way to Go at Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Great, thanks so much. I'm going to share my screen to start the presentation. Okay, so this is our list of presenters, and we're going to start with Pat.
All right. So that's just our contents there. We can just go on to the second slide, Nicole, if that's okay. So the first, I'm going to start out with some really good news. Our most recent report is from September. We started our fall service in mid-August, and ridership compared to September of last year is up 48.7%. This is largely due to the restoration of a lot of service, which we normally do for the start of the academic year anyway. So I won't drill down to all these routes, but if anybody has questions later, I can answer them. We were happy to bring back the 14S. We had to suspend the 14S last year due to driver and equipment shortages. The 14S is the West Hill Shopper. It's sort of a companion to the Route 14 of West Hill. Ridership isn't huge on the Shopper, the 14S Shopper, but the people who live on West Hill, particularly seniors and persons with disabilities, really need that. It's a 1-seat ride to the Southwest Shopping. We were very happy to bring that back, and we're planning on continuing that. As you can see here, rural ridership remains, there's a pretty significant decrease in rural ridership, and we haven't brought service back to the rurals as much as we would like. We'll continue to work at that. But we also believe that rural ridership is down because we think people are still working from home. They enjoyed it so much during the pandemic, and employers that allow that have enabled them to continue to work from home. So year to date, we're about 82% of where we were pre-pandemic, which is pretty wonderful. And that's pretty much on par of transit agencies nationwide. So we're pretty happy about that. We still have a lot of work to do. We attribute this ridership to improved maintenance processes. And we have to thank Frank Daldo, our county chief transportation planner, for helping us with that. We've also stabilized. We're not where we want to be with the the ranks of drivers, but we've stabilized that and brought more drivers back. We're working on retention. We have a great new HR team. So we're on our way. So keep using us and keep touting us. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. It's I think it's the one before that. Nicole, go back one. You go back one more. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so as you all know, we had a $1.5 million overhaul of our fare collection system. It has been a rocky implementation, which again, that's sort of usual from what we understand in the industry, particularly since we had a custom-made fare box before. The fare boxes were actually installed in August of last year, but what held us up was we had the fare media was delayed significantly. We didn't have the mobile apparatus that we need on the back end, but we're getting there. So far, we have about 10,500 downloads of the mobile apps. Smart cards, there's about 1,240 now in use. And we also have the smart card lights, which they're LUCCs. So far, 1,096 sold. These smart card lights are disposable, and they're good for visitors or people who don't plan on using our system consistently. They're sold at about 10 retail outlets, from Tops to Green Star, the town of Ithaca, and several other areas. But so far, so good. We think we've worked out most of the kinks of this very challenging project, and we continue to get feedback. There's still stuff to work out, but we're getting there. This will enable us to collect the data we need. Next slide, please.
Sorry, I'm not sure why it doesn't want to advance on me. Okay.
So Free Ride, most of you know about this program. This was kicked off in 2022 to enable youth through the age of 17 or older, still enrolled in high school, to ride fare free. The impetus behind this is that, Free Ride is a good marketing tool. If we can educate kids younger to use the bus, they'll become paying riders in the future. Due to changes with our new fare collection system, the distribution process had to change, and that's because these smart cards have to be tied to individual accounts. So on our back end, we kind of make up different emails that go along with each of these Free Ride cards. So the changes require parents, guardians, teachers, adults to apply for these on behalf of youth. So far, nearly 700 applications have been processed, and those cards have been sent out. We're still getting applications day by day. Next slide, please. So there's going to be some future fare box enhancements, which will be really good for riders. We're going to enable open payment. This enables the fare box to accept credit cards. And again, that's good for people who are visiting our area, tourists. People who just don't want to buy a card, they can simply use their credit card. Another nice feature will be fare capping. And fare capping is automatically applied after a rider has spent a certain amount on their card or app. So essentially, you won't spend more than $3 a day to ride our bus, no matter where you go or how often you use our service. And $3 is the cost of a day pass. And this is particularly good for people struggling, with budgets. They won't have to, you can, let's say you had to ride 6 times a day, it's $1.50 a pop. That adds up. So I'm not sure yet when these features will be available to our riders, but they're definitely on the horizon. So next slide, please. It's important to note, I try to point this out to people, we haven't raised fares since 2012. And the only reason we did that was we were in a budget crunch at that time. And the fares were only increased for people boarding in rural areas. But that fare increase has since been rescinded, and that was effective 2019 with TCAT returning to one flat fare of $1.50 per single adult ride, or 75 cents for half fare for seniors and persons with disabilities. So I try to point that out. You know, everything else has gone up, but we really work hard to maintain an affordable fare. You know, industry statistics show you raise a fare, you lose ridership. It's as simple as that. So next slide, please. I don't know if any of you read, in April 2024, the TCAT Board of Directors approved the purchase of 5 Gillig diesel buses after we had to take out 7 of those brand new Proterra buses due to structural issues. It was pretty heartbreaking. We had a big to-do in 2021 when we rolled those out. And then last March, maintenance noticed the axle separating from the frame of the bus, and our GM had to just bench them all. So we were, you know, that's 7 out of 53 buses is a pretty significant percentage of our fleet. So, you know, the board of directors, the GM and Frank and a number of people got together and just tried to figure out how to, you know, get moving on bolstering our fleet. So these 5 Gillig diesel buses are expected to arrive this coming summer of 2025, which is quite, it was fast tracked, which is wonderful because it takes 18 months to build a bus. So they'll be on the road in 2025. And then the FTA has already approved a low-no program funding for 6 battery electric buses and 4 battery electric micro transit vans, which are expected to be here next fall at this time. So we're not giving up on carbon-free fleet. It's just been delayed. We hope that, you know, we can continue that program and, you know, work toward our goal of having a carbon-free fleet. So next slide, please. So you'll see these buses. These are CDTA buses to help boost our fleet. In the meantime, we're taking possession of these 5 electric diesel hybrid buses, and they've been given to us, by CDTA in Albany. They're 2010 buses, but our team went up there and checked them all out. They're in good condition. These will be, you know, again, help us get through the, you know, the equipment shortages until we can take possession of our new buses. Thing is, they likely won't be road ready until January. They have to be outfitted with the new fare boxes, with our AVL equipment, automatic vehicle locators. They have to be inspected and get road ready for the Ithaca, for our Ithaca service. So we're happy about that. If you see these, they'll be branded with TCAT. I'm not sure how much we can brand the red and gray with our TCAT colors, but we'll do our best. So you should see those sometime in January. So next slide.
Yeah, one more.
Just want to let you know that our winter spring service goes into effect Sunday, January 12th. We're going to have some additional service in Danby. We're going to have some backup buses for the Route 11. That's the Ithaca College bus, which is very much in demand. Few little tweaks here and there, but the Danby edition is based on rider feedback. We're going to be able to, that's proof that we're really trying to hear our rural population. So, and that's the link for all our schedules. Just a reminder, we have 3 service periods a year: winter, spring, summer, and fall. So that's about it. I hope I didn't exceed my time, but if you have any questions, please let me know.
Frank, I see your hand up. I was hoping we could hold questions until the end. Would that be okay? Thank you. I'll make sure to call on you. Okay, great. Okay, our next presenter is Kristen from Gadabout.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Wells. I'm the Executive Director of Gadabout Transportation Services. We provide transportation for older adults, anyone over the age of 55. or anyone that has a disability within Tompkins County. So a little bit on our ridership. I'm happy to say that Q4 of 2023, we saw a significant rebound in our ridership, which we met or exceeded our pre-pandemic numbers. And we've been hovering around that since, so which is great. Some months we actually hit that and some months we're below. But that's kind of par for the course with the history of our ridership. Ridership tends to increase in the colder months when folks don't want to drive and be out on the roads when they get nasty. So that's great news for us here at Gadabout. We are experiencing a bus shortage at the moment. I'm really comfortable with my fleet around 30 vehicles. That allows us to pull vehicles out for timely preventative maintenance. For DOT inspections, our vehicles are inspected rigorously every 6 months by New York State Department of Transportation. So we always pull them out a couple days ahead of time, put them through the ringer and do kind of a pre-inspection because we want to keep our percentage rate with New York State DOT, our passage rate at a high rate. And it's looked very favorably in the industry to have that happen. So unfortunately, right now, I believe I have 12 active vehicles. Our fleet is extremely old and they have well exceeded their useful life expectancy in years and miles. So unfortunately, the pandemic really set things back with our ability to acquire vehicles. Our vehicle manufacturer that had the state bid went through some changes on their end. Supplies to actually build the vehicles were hard to come by. So it's been a very difficult process, but we're getting there. We have 7 vehicles that have been ordered and that are due to us. And I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, we will get a couple of the 7. But realistically, I was hoping December, maybe January or February, but it's been a difficult last few months trying to keep a steady service, reliable service with the lack of vehicles. But we do it. I don't know how, but somehow we do it. It's not convenient for our riders, and I get that. And, you know, sometimes the vehicles might be running later than they had anticipated, but it really is our goal to make sure that our riders get to where they need to be in a timely manner. We don't want people being late to their doctor's appointments. We don't want people being late to work. Those that go shopping, if it's a dire need, we'll try to get them there to get their prescriptions. But if it comes down to it, we might ask them to go a different day if they could. So we really try to work with our passengers and our riders because we realize that, you know, they're the value of our service to the folks that need it. So during this time, we were able to acquire 14 highly used vehicles from RGRTA, which is in Rochester. I currently have 2 of those on the road. I have one that is being repaired at the body shop, and we hope to get that back and get through DOT inspections. The difficulty is that RGRTA is a transit authority. Authorities are not subject to New York State DOT inspections. So we got these used vehicles. There are some modifications that we have to put into them in order to get them roadworthy for DOT inspections. So our mechanic is trying to, TCAT mechanic that's assigned to our buses is trying to go through and get those ready to be put on the road and get presented for DOT inspections. But RGRTA, you know, they have a great rolling stock program where they get new vehicles in, and as soon as, you know, they meet their useful life expectancy, they get rid of them, and they get rid of a lot at a time. So we were lucky enough to have 14 of the vehicles transferred to us. And unfortunately, we have found that some of them have issues that will not pass DOT inspection. And those vehicles we're going to use for parts because parts are expensive and they're hard to come by. And so those will become parts vehicles, and we'll utilize them to all extents that we can. and then we'll probably have to scrap them, unfortunately. But, you know, we do get good usage out of parts, whether it's fuses or pieces for the lifts. You know, these specialized customized parts sometimes are hard to come by. So instead of waiting a couple weeks for a part, we could just go pull one off one of the vehicles that we have sitting, which is extremely helpful. We started our new scheduled dispatch software in early May, and it's been rocky to hear what Patty said. Anytime you implement new technology in transit, it never seems to go as smooth as you had hoped and planned it to go. We went through rigorous testing with the system. Everything works great individually, but when you put it all together, sometimes things don't work as designed. So we are using the scheduling dispatching software at the moment. What we hope to have out in the next couple weeks, my software company is buttoning up the issues that we had with our IVR call out system. So right now, every day about 4 o'clock, our riders call to get their pickup times for the next day. Highly inconvenient. People might be in appointments, people might be at work, they might take naps. You know, it's not very convenient for our riders. Our riders will have the ability to opt in for an automated call or text message with their scheduled time for the next day. Those will go out at 4:30 every day, the day before, so they don't have to remember to call us. The second piece of that really isn't stable at the moment for me to be able to release is the call or text that they would receive 15 minutes before the vehicle gets there. So it goes by real-time GPS and estimating, you know, how long it's going to take to get a passenger off the vehicle. And the person will get a call or text when their bus is 15 minutes away, which would be extremely helpful. People that either aren't feeling well and forgot to call to cancel, or have a hard time getting themselves prepared and ready and getting their shoes on and their coat on if it's cold outside. You know, we don't want people unknowingly waiting for the vehicle. So this will be extremely helpful for our riders. The only piece that's unstable with that right now is the 15-minute call out. I have 3 people testing it right now, and it was calling at either 15 minutes or 2 minutes before the bus gets there or 2 minutes after. So it all has to go with, it was dependent on the prior pickup. So the software company had to change it to not have it based on the prior pickup, because if you had 2 pickups that were 5 minutes away, they would wait until you got that person on and then that call would go out. So they're tweaking that, and hopefully that will be ready in the next couple of weeks. And again, it's not mandatory for every single rider to have it. It is optional. So if our riders are still comfortable calling the office and getting their times, they can feel free to do that as well. After that gets implemented and is successful, we will roll out the IVR call out for folks to call an automated number, and it would get their real-time vehicle location. So if their pickup fluctuates, you know, if there's an accident or traffic or construction that's holding up the vehicle, or, you know, the vehicle breaks down, the passenger can call and say, geez, it's almost time for my bus to get here. I haven't gotten a call or a text, or maybe they didn't sign up for that option. They can call a number, and that would give them the real-time ETA for the vehicle based on the vehicle's current location. So we hope to get that next. And the final piece of that is going to be an app and website where the clients can book their trips automatically through that. So lots of stuff on the horizon. It's such a huge difference from where we started with originally with our scheduling. And I started here 20 years ago, and we were still scheduling with paper and pencil. And we went from that to a purchase system in the early 2000s that had no sort of input for our GPS. So the scheduler had to be able to know the area, know it well, and how long it's going to take to load the passengers and travel where they need to go. So this is bringing us leaps and bounds into the century's technology. Unfortunately, technology is always evolving, and so is our scheduling and dispatch system. So I think that's all I have for now. And we're still gadabouting. We're still taking folks where they need to go. Older adults, people with disabilities, and we're not limited to just medical appointments. We'll take folks shopping. We will take them to visit with friends and family. And we are also the dedicated paratransit provider for TCAT. So folks that are certified through the ADA paratransit program with TCAT, their transportation gets handed over to us as well. So.
Thank you so much, Kristen.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Jane from Go Ithaca.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jane Bowman Brady, Executive Director of Go Ithaca. I'm really excited to talk to you all today. I know some of you on this call may not be familiar with us, as we are a newer organization in Tompkins County. So I first kind of wanted to go over a little bit about who we are and our benefits. So sorry if this is repetitive to anyone, but we are a transportation management organization, and we work to reduce traffic congestion and demand coming into Ithaca and around Tompkins County to improve air quality, reduce climate emissions, make people's lives easier and better when they're trying to travel and get around where they need to. So we do this through providing incentives to people around Tompkins County to help them both try sustainable transportation options and then use and sustain their use of those options. So Nicole, if you want to go to the next slide. We currently have a suite of incentives here. Our membership program is free for individuals and small businesses, so anyone can sign up and reach out to us to get these benefits. A few of the people you have heard from or are going to hear from today, and it's our job to support all of the sustainable modes around Tompkins County. So to our members, we offer credit for Ithaca Carshare, Ithaca Bikeshare, gift cards for walking and biking gear to sustain using active modes around the county, free registration into our emergency ride home program. Some of you may know up until last year, the CCT housed a backup ride home program. That program no longer exists, but has been replaced by an emergency ride home program, which lives with Go Ithaca. So if anyone uses a sustainable mode that fails, for example, their carpool buddy has to leave, or, you know, they have a problem with their bike, they can call us and we'll help them either get, if there's a bus available, get the closest bus, or Uber, taxi, or Lyft to get them home or where they need to go. We also offer a 30 ride TCAT pass. This is a slight change from our previous offering due to the way their new system works, but we are still giving out free TCAT passes and 50% off people that want to renew their bus passes through us. We have a carpooling network and discounts for carpoolers. If you want to go to the next slide, Nicole. A little bit ago, we realized that it was really important to support low-income individuals to get in and around the county, particularly as you may or may not know, I think it is the #1 most expensive small city in the country. So we have growing economic issues, people moving further from the central city, which means it's harder for them to be serviced by some of these transportation options. We really want to support them to get to where they need to go. And so we launched an easy access program. So anyone who makes 150% or less of the federal poverty line, there's a chart on our website, can reach out to us and get additional discounts beyond what we offer to normal members. So this way we're supporting them to use sustainable modes, and helping these individuals to not rely on a car or need to rely on a car, which is reducing more car trips. We've heard from our members, previously they had to rely on someone to drive them to work, drop them off, go home, and then drive and pick them up and drop them off and go home. So if they're able to, use TCAT instead with our incentive, that's reducing actually 4 trips. So we really encourage people to reach out to us. We're also have been working with a lot of human service agencies. So if you're an agency that works with low-income people, we would love to hear from you and partner with you to be able to support them and their transportation needs. Next slide. Thank you. So for those of you that none of that was new for, just providing some latest updates on things we've been working on. So as I mentioned, in the past year, we've taken over the emergency ride home program. We have formed partnerships with Uber, Lyft, and Ithaca Dispatch. They're the taxi, to make emergency ride home easier to access. So the way this program works is people can reach out to us. They can get a code that they can just put into Uber or Lyft on their phone. They have the code. When they have an emergency, they can use the code and then let us know that they've used the code. With Ithaca Dispatch, the big draw of this partnership is we do work with a lot of low-income people who maybe don't have access to internet or phones regularly. And so Ithaca Dispatch offers a voucher that's just a piece of paper. We can send it out to our members. They walk around with this piece of paper in their wallet till they need it, and then they can give it to the taxi driver and get the ride charged to go Ithaca so that they don't have to pay up front for that ride. We have kind of expanded our boundaries. Previously, when we were just a program and not our own organization, we were really focused on serving downtown. That grew to Ithaca and is now growing to all of Tompkins County. So really looking at anyone traveling in and out of the county who needs transportation support, we really want to be able to support them to use these sustainable modes and not have to drive alone. We also expanded our easy access offerings. So support for maybe not necessarily what people think of as traditional transportation offerings. We do support for mobile needs if people have need to access technology because they can work from home part of the time, or they need to check the bus schedules on their phone, and expanding funding for through Bike Walk Tompkins and their community bike shop, purchasing bikes, purchasing gear and other things so that low-income individuals can have their own bikes, their own gear, to be able to get around, and then don't need to necessarily rely on continual support from us. Along with that, we also have a partnership with TCAT with their new fare system to serve our easy access individuals. So people are able to get 75% off their TCAT pass through us. And they can either use the app, or if they need a physical card, we can also facilitate getting that for them as well if they don't have access to technology. So that's a bit of what's going on in Go Ithaca land. Thank you guys for listening.
Thanks so much, Jane. we're just gonna keep moving along here. Next, we have Laura from Center for Community Transportation.
Hi, everybody hear me all right? Great. I'm Laura Vineyard, Executive Director of the CCT, and we are the umbrella organization for Ithaca Carshare, Bike Walk Tompkins, and Ithaca Bikeshare. Next slide, please. So briefly, I wanted to go through our mission and vision. At the Center for Community Transportation, we envision a community where travel by shared and active transportation is healthy, safe, affordable, and convenient for all. CCT's mission-focused services and activities include Carshare, Bike Walk Tompkins, and Bikeshare, emphasizing social equity and environmental sustainability in this era of new transportation options and emerging mobility trends. And CCT works with, as you've already seen, a variety of local transportation providers, educators, planners, decision makers, advocates, and users to fulfill our mission of enhancing transportation access in our community, while also reducing its negative environmental and economic impacts. We work toward a, oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't have that perfectly cached in my brain. We work toward a dynamic and collaborative transportation sector that effectively identifies, advocates for, and provides solutions that serve our entire community. Next slide. So today I'm going to be focusing on bike and pedestrian mobility. Next slide. Starting with Ithaca Bikeshare. So I'm sure everyone's seen the bikes around town. We are a extremely low barrier 24/7 transportation service that folks can access as quickly as they can download an app onto their phone. And one of the things I wanted to share today is that people use Bikeshare really much more in a transportation context than in a recreational context. So we have this amazing dockless system that allows bikes to be really placed exactly where they're needed. So people literally are driving from home to work or to an appointment. We know from our data that rides are typically 2 to 5 minutes. They're like bing, bang, boom, critical piece of moving folks around to get where they need to go. And as Jane mentioned, eligible members can ride for free with the help of Go Ithaca's support. And I'm excited to share that we just had our second birthday for Ithaca Bikeshare. And in that time, we've had over 151,000 rides, which is pretty amazing. Next slide. And the next wing of our programming I wanted to talk about is Bike Walk Tompkins, which is our more sort of traditionally nonprofit styled advocacy and education wing. So in terms of education and outreach, we offer learn to ride and bike skill lessons so folks can get out there and do some route planning, or if they've never ridden before, we can help them learn to ride. We lead workshops and mechanic courses and do pop-up events and help folks who want to organize group rides, kind of the gamut of pedestrian and cycling activities in town. We also do advocacy work where we promote safety, convenience, and accessibility for walking and biking. If you come out to our shop, you can get free safety equipment, helmets and lights, and you can also get low-cost parts and components. And that's a really big piece of our creating more access. We have our community bike shop. Folks come out on Tuesday afternoons and work with our trained mechanics who will teach you how to fix your bike. And they'll do that for free. And if there's parts that need to be replaced, you can use those affordable pieces. And as a part of that, we have work trade and volunteer trainings. And through all of that work, we end up with a nice collection of affordable refurbished bikes that we sell on a sliding scale for folks that need it. So next slide. And I really want to emphasize that the mission of the CCT is really creating this active and alternative mobility network that's on your terms. So we recognize that there's no one size fits all approach to transportation, and we want to create all of these variety of options to give autonomy and independence back to community members. And now it is time for me to pass the mic for you all to learn about our third program, Ithaca Carshare.
Thank you, Laura, and hi, everybody. I'm Liz Field, and many of you know that we did have to temporarily pause our operations because of an insurance market failure in New York State. We relaunched operations on March 11th with 20 vehicles. We still have 20 vehicles in our fleet. We're about to get 5 more. But I'm not really going to talk about all of that. We are up and running. And so if you can go to the next slide, I'll just talk about what car sharing is. So it's great for things like errands and appointments. That's trips to the Tompkins County Solid Waste Center, in case you don't know that acronym. It's great for regional travel, if you have like occasional cargo, if you want to go from a 2-car family to a 1-car family, for people who live in town, for students, international students, or any kind of temporary resident in Ithaca. That's basically the gist of what Carshare's for. It's not great for regular commutes and things like that, but if you can go to the next slide, we'll talk about how Carshare is much more affordable than owning a vehicle. The average annual cost of a personal new car are now approaching over $14,000. The last numbers that we had were the end of last year, and it was just over $13,000. AAA comes out with the cost of car ownership every year around this time. I haven't seen the latest figures yet, but they'll tell you what to expect in the coming year. A personal used car will cost you about $5,200 and up every year. But the average Carshare member will spend about $1,500 a year on Carshare services. And car sharing includes all your gas and EV charging. It includes insurance, maintenance, a home parking spot, and day rates on some cars if you need to do regional travel. So next slide. We think it's pretty convenient. You can choose from 20 to 25 vehicles around the city in Cornell. We are going to move into Varna soon. We're putting a minivan out there at the Varna Community Center. We hope to have that set up by now, but it will take a little bit longer. Probably sometime in November, we'll have that out there. And that will be our first car in a rural area in Tompkins County. We're really excited about it. We think that it's really going to help that community in particular, mainly because they reached out to us and asked us for a car out there and then made their case for having a car out there. There's a lot of families, there's a lot of Cornell students, and the Varna Community Center is right next to a TCAT bus stop. Carshare cars tend to work great when they're within a quarter mile of where people live or work. And if they use other forms of public transportation as well, we see ourselves as public transportation adjacent. In our fleet, we have minivans, we have a pickup truck that people use to go to the waste center, and we have a few electric vehicles. And we provide all the regular maintenance, the repairs, changing snow tires, digging them out of snow, all of that stuff. Next slide, please. It's more eco-friendly than owning a car. Sharing versus owning reduces greenhouse gas emissions. All of our vehicles are fuel efficient hybrid or electric, and each Carshare car replaces approximately 15 vehicles on the road, which reduces traffic congestion and, of course, more greenhouse gas emissions. And then it increases mobility options for lower income communities. If you can go to the next slide, we'll talk about the plans that we have. So it works, it's pretty simple. You become a member, you join a plan, and then those membership fees are anywhere from $750 and up higher per month. But then you pay hourly and mileage fees only when you drive. The cars are station-based and round trip only. It's self-service access to reserve. You can reserve online or on our app. And then we offer 24/7 on-call support for people who have urgent issues when they're with a card. And then after you self-serve your reservations, you access the card with a key card like what's shown in the picture. Next slide. And then the eligibility is anyone that's 18 or up. If anyone wants to take a picture of that QR code, it will lead you right to get the eligibility page for more information. You can also check eligibility at ithacacarshare.org. It's basically anyone that's 18 and up and has a full and unrestricted license for at least 2 years with no serious offenses. We do not let people with DWIs or history of like vehicular manslaughter become Ithaca Carshare members. So next slide. Our plans are either it's just in case or it's my car. And so like I said before, you become a member, you join one of these plans, and then you pay the hourly and mileage rates only when you drive. Next slide. And then we have plan discounts for students and commuters. That's subsidized by Cornell and by Ithaca Carshare. And then we have low income easy access, and that is subsidized by Go Ithaca as well. We work with them. They offer what the easy access plan is $10 a month for the It's My Car monthly plan instead of $35 a month. And then they get $20 in driving credit every month. You're eligible for that if you're 150% of federal poverty income rate or lower. Next slide. And then the access is really easy. This is basically, I strongly recommend that Carshare members download our app, but you can, access it from a desktop version, and then the mobile is just the desktop version on your phone, how that looks. And then the app is a separate app. And it's really great because when you open it up, it just zooms in on where you are, and then you can look at the map and see what cars are available around you. So it's really easy, and just pick that car, put in the time you want it for, and like, boom, you can leave, and it keeps track of everything. So next slide. That's it. I don't know what happened to the colors on this, but
Sorry, probably just the
I think the
translation.
translation through through what we use, and then PowerPoint maybe. But
All
thank
right.
you, Nicole.
Thank you. Yep, we have 2 presenters left. They're going to get through their section quickly so that we have a little time for Q&A. So next we have Victoria from 211 and my agency, the Human Service Coalition.
So my name is Victoria. Again, I'm the transportation specialist for the Human Services Coalition. We recently fully launched a program called Tompkins Transportation Scout in collaboration with some of the local transportation organizations such as Go Ithaca, TCAT, the CCT, and a number of other organizations as well. So we're currently offering a variety of transportation specific services. We can help people find transportation resources, navigate from their home to their place of employment, grocery stores, etc. TCAT is one of our partners that we regularly work with, and we do route navigation for them. So anyone who needs assistance figuring out the TCAT lines or stops or anything of that nature should feel free to get in contact with us by phone at 211 or email at transpo@hsctc.org. We can meet people in person if over the phone is difficult. We're at 118 North Tioga Street on the 3rd floor. If anyone wants to come and see us, we're always here. We can also provide resources for other service. We can also provide resources for other services like housing or food pantries, pretty much anything that you need help finding information about, like hours or locations, services offered. You can call 211 and get information about that. We're one of our biggest, I'm still back on the other one. One of our biggest, it's okay. One of our biggest services right now is bus passes. bus passes have been in hot demand for people who are underserved and can't afford to purchase them outright. We're currently out of bus passes. We've given out, I think, somewhere around 150 at this point in the last couple months. So we're building a wait list for anybody who wants to acquire bus passes for whatever reason, and we can put you on that list if you reach out to us. What else? What else? We also do doctor's appointment scheduling. So for people who are Medicaid clients, we could schedule through MOS for you if you don't already have an organization scheduling for you. We also have a volunteer driver organization called FISH that we can accommodate rides for non-Medicaid clients through. And I think I'm ready for the next one. So one of our partners is Go Ithaca, and we're enrolling clients to receive the transportation benefits of their program. Jane went over some of those benefits, and one of them is a free monthly TCAT bus pass. So there's 1 month loaded on that bus pass, and then you can refill it for 75% off. So instead of paying $45 per month, it would be $11.25, and you can load up to 3 months at a time. We also administer their emergency ride home program when their office is closed between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. I'm not sure if they close. Do you guys close earlier, like 4 or 4:30, Jane?
No.
Okay, so it is 5 o'clock. Okay, so their program offers up to 4 rides per year in the event of an emergency through Uber or Lyft. Rides are also offered through taxi companies, as she had mentioned, but those vouchers have to be picked up in person and can't be issued remotely. We're performing outreach and networking with local organizations and businesses. If you or your employer want to connect with me about doing outreach for this program, or troubleshooting transportation for employees, feel free to reach out to us. And as I had mentioned, our expanded hours have been in full effect since August 12th, extending helpline access by an extra 3 hours. Our office closes at 5, and now we're available here until 8 for transportation needs, emergency ride home, and anything else that people might need to make contact about. So that is my presentation.
Thank you. I didn't push the button, it just went right to the last screen. And I know Meloney's going to do a quick screen share and show us the new Way to Go website. So Meloney.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Meloney McMurry, team leader of Way to Go at Cornell Cooperative Extension. Oh, it's telling me I can't share my screen while you're sharing, so I'll just wait for you to unshare.
Okay. I will stop. That's true.
Okay. So I just wanted to share our new Way to Go website. Can everybody see that on their screens? Okay. So this website was really developed in response to what we were hearing from the community. As evidenced today, Tompkins County benefits from a variety of transportation resources, which is terrific, but it can be very confusing as well. So when we had been doing our transportation options presentations, for example, educating people about the transportation resources, we frequently received the feedback that it would be really great to have all of these resources in one place so that you can find them and learn about other resources and how to put them together. So over the last 2 years, we developed this website. It was designed by our communications coordinator, Norma Gutierrez. She did a great job focusing on making sure that the information is clear and accessible. You can see here it can be translated into other languages. And we tried to use really simple icons for people who might have limited reading ability or limited vision. So you can see on this homepage, we divided it sort of following the model of our transportation options brochure, which has always been a very popular resource, and we kind of wanted to make that into an interactive version of itself. So We have resources divided on the homepage by local, regional, medical, and peer transportation, which is car sharing and ride sharing. You can also search by accessible options, green transportation options, and incentive programs like Go Ithaca's. If you scroll down a little further, you can get information about Way to Go's resources and workshops, and also transportation updates. I'm clicking on that button to highlight just quickly that we currently have a 1-minute commuter bus survey trying to identify interest in a commuter bus service between Tioga and Broome counties and Tompkins County. So just highlighting that for anyone who might want to take that survey, hop on our website, click transportation updates, and we'd love to hear from you. So just quickly going back to local options, you can see once you get onto the local page, there's information about walking, biking, paratransit, car share, cab, and bus. All of these are resources you just heard about on this presentation, but clicking onto the paratransit page, you'll see right here, Gadabout at the top, FISH, which is run through HSC or 211, and A&D transport. Down here, each page like this will have some tips on using these services and a video to help walk people through it if these services are new. This video focuses on TCAT bus basics for wheelchair users. If you go to a specific resource like Gadabout, it takes you to the transportation provider's page so you can book your trip through that page directly. Let's see, going back to the home page, looking at the incentive programs, again, you'll see here some of what you heard about today. Here's Go Ithaca, and if you click on that, it takes you right to Go Ithaca's page. So keeping it short, just wanted to highlight this new resource. We launched it in September. We've gotten really positive feedback so far. We've heard that it's very helpful to have all of these resources in one place. So I would encourage you to check it out, to use it when you're doing your own transportation planning or when you're working with your constituents among your own organizations, to encourage them that this is a great starting point if you're trying to figure out how to get around Tompkins County. And unless anyone has questions on the website, I will stop sharing now. All right.
Thanks so much, Melanie. Thanks, everyone. I do realize that it was very ambitious to have 7 presenters in an hour's time and try to leave some time for Q&A. Shasta has put in the chat that folks can stay on to ask questions, and then there will also be a recording posted to our website. I will say that we have received a couple of questions ahead of time related to TCAT trip planning, both locally, going from high school to various locations in the county, and then we also received a question about using TCAT and connecting to other counties. I want to share my screen one more time and put everybody's email up so that y'all can send an email to any of the presenters if you wanted to ask a direct question. For those questions, I do suggest that you either contact TCAT directly or Victoria. She does some great trip planning with TCAT and other providers, so you can email Victoria at transpo@hsc.org, and we can help with that trip planning for you. I do want to honor that Frank had a question at the beginning. So Frank, you're still here. You're still here. Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Could you go to Patty's slide with the TCAT bus passes?
Sure can.
Up.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, right there. Patty, can you explain to everybody the difference between a 5-day pass and a ride pass? For example, you know, the time limit on it, and so that when people are purchasing tickets, they know the difference.
Absolutely, Frank, a good question. A 5-day pass or any day-based pass are what is known as either expiration-based passes or period passes, meaning that if you buy a 31-day pass, that pass is good for 31 days upon the time you first use that pass on the bus. The clock starts ticking. And you can use that pass as frequently as you would like, anywhere within our system within that expiration period. So it's expiration. Now, if you get a ride-based pass, as you can see, we sell a 15 ride. Those are ticked off ride by ride. So they're stored passes, so you use them when you need them. There's no expiration on them. They just get ticked off as soon as you use them. So, you can use a 15 ride pass over the course of however many months, a ride a month or whatever. So there's just no expiration to that. So for commuters, we usually suggest that you take an expiration or a day-based pass. If you're an infrequent user, a ride-based pass might be better for you. So that's how that works.
Great. And then the second question, Patty, not to put you on the spot, but let's say agencies want to buy passes, and you can also let them know that the one-day passes are now available. But
Right,
if an agency wants to buy a bunch of passes to give to low-income, underserved, or people that they serve, how would they go about doing that?
You can contact us. There's several outlets in the area, but for bulk passes, you would want to contact us directly. Our customer service representatives will help you. And that number is just 607-277-RIDE, which is 7433, or email us at tcatmail.com. We'll get you set up.
Great. And then the only other thing I wanted people to know about is like Go Ithaca, Ithaca Carshare, Bikeshare. How do people go to sign up to join your membership?
So the folks from Carshare and Bikeshare did have to drop off the call for another meeting. They did put their website in the chat. And I also, again, bring up the email to her contact. I think Jane is still on to answer the questions for Go Ithaca.
Great. And then the only other question I'd be interested to know, and I'm sure others would know, is has there been any thought of incorporating Gadabout into the Go Ithaca membership? Has there been any thought in that to offer seniors and people with disabilities that sign up for that that need paratransit service or ADA or non-ADA service? Has there been any thought in developing a partnership to include that as part of the membership?
We're certainly open to that. We would have to talk to Gadabout, but my understanding is that their services are already free or very low cost. So we'd have to think about what that would look like.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Low cost, not free, but low cost. Compared to the actual cost per trip, it's either $2 or $3 depending on what zone you're in. So I'm not sure how we would work into Go Ithaca's plan, but I'm more than willing to sit down with Jane and discuss that.
Thanks, Kristen. Shasta has said we can go till 11:15 for those who can stay on. We had a couple questions in the chat. Katie Church, are you still in the meeting? You had a couple of questions. Okay, if not, I will pass those questions to the team. The question about Common Council, proposed budget cuts, and then whether TCAT plans to make all rides 100% free. I don't think that. I guess I should direct that to Patty. There are plans to make TCAT 100% free in the future.
Not at present. It's just simply we can't sustain that right now. We would love, I think everybody here would absolutely love to be able to do that, but we just cannot do that sustainably. Now there's a white paper on that as well. We need that. Obviously, you know, fair revenue is not a huge chunk of our budget, but it's still substantial and we need it. Maybe at some point down the line, we would be happy to find funding sources to do that, but it's just not in the cards right now.
Other questions? Great. Okay. Thanks everyone so much for attending our presentation. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but just again, appreciate all your time. And again, thank you the presenters for being here and sharing all of this really important information. Again, the emails are here if anyone needs to contact the presenter directly. And all right, everyone have a good day.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, everybody.
And one quick note for those who are still on the call, we have a special forum coming up. We will be meeting in person at the library on December 3rd, and we'll be talking about ways in which to recognize and respond to domestic violence for employers. So if you're interested in joining that forum, feel free to join us from 12 to 1:30 on December 3rd at the library. Registration is on the HSC website. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Great.
Shasta.
Thank you, Shasta.